Hello Blender folks, today we are making sci-fi things in Blender, and first of all go to edit preferences and search for discombobulator add-on and enable it. Why discombobulator? Because it is a very powerful add-on for sci-fi things in Blender. And delete the poor default cube, add a plane, extrude some faces. You know the edit mode, I don't have to tell you. Just E to extrude some faces, that's it. And now press F3 or go to the add mesh discombobulator and click OK. Expand this menu, uncheck the fourth one and make doodads, and here you can see nothing's happened because it says it only works on quad, not triangle and n-gons, and it needs all the faces selected in edit mode. So first select all the faces in edit mode, press F3 again, search for discombo. Now back to modeling part. So after hitting OK in edit mode, select all the faces and F3, go to discombobulator, click OK. I am changing the minimum maximum height to get this slightly gap between all the panels, and just decrease the taper a little bit, and yeah, hit uncheck do that and okay. Do that makes a separate geometry from your mesh, so it will be based on your preference, but I would like to go with the main geometry, and you can tweak these settings after applying this. I am suggesting that not use repeat protrusions many time, because it will just extrude extra geometry from the normal based on the normal of the faces, so it will just create a different kind of geometry. So I'm just enabling doodads and playing with some settings to get the look and feel I like. So this one is look over extruded, so I'm just using this one. Now I will add in the another iteration, just shift T to duplicate this, and we will add another discombobulator on the extruded geometry. So here you can see it will extrude some faces in a diagonal manner with based on the normals. So you can play with that with a little less value, so you can just update that. One thing to notice that all the parts are separated in this, so you have to just select all and hit M, merge by distance. I'm just make simple these faces. These are not looking good as per my design I wanted for a spaceship, so just flat them, and this one also. Now in edit mode, select all, hit merge by distance. Now this is a single object, I'll just delete my base object, and with this both the selected, I'll join them by duplicating this. And you can skip this part, we don't need any circle actually, because we are distributing this based in a circle based on the empty object. So I don't know why I added that. Just add a make sure that origin is set to the 3D cursor, and we will add an empty object. Then go to modifier, add array modifier, increase the number of count, and we will just distribute like this. So select object offset and select that empty, hit Control A, apply all transform. Now rotate it as per your liking, and yeah, there we have it. Now for the area where the gap you are seeing, you can add any geometry. Now as we have our empty set in the center, we can just make or add geometry, and we will just distribute all of them based on our empty object. So it is quite easy and pretty powerful workflow for this kind of repetitive stuff. I'll add array modifier again, increase the number of count, object offset, select the empty, Control A, apply all transform, and there you go. Now I'll just make some more details again with the discombobulator. So I need this small like if you've seen a sci-fi movies, they have little details, especially Star Wars, they have like small chunks of building on their spaceship, like some bunker kind of thing. So I'm just playing with that, hide and editing to get that variation. I need to subdivide this for that, and now uncheck the fourth one because I don't like it. It makes the iteration like as much as the variation in the height it can be, so this is for that. And I would go with something kind of this. Uncheck the doodads. So we need third and fourth because we are creating lots of building heights. And after playing with some typer, I got this result which looks quite nice. And delete the base geometry and just merge by distance, as you know. And see, I have the center of this object on the 3D cursor because I will distribute this as also based on the empty. So just using this one geometry, I just duplicate, scale, rotate and make as many variation or details I wanted. You can do it too. It's too easy, too simple and ready to use material. I mean technique. So that's it. After placing some things, I just go to array and increase the number of count, select object offset and our empty. Yeah, we got the details on. Now we will create a roof for this spaceship. So just select the top part and extrude inwards towards the 3D cursor, and as it is arrayed, it will create automatically fill all the areas. For the center part, I'll just add another circle with a number of count of 6 and 8 actually, and we will add that in the center, just match with the boundaries. This will be the hinge, or you can say a door on top of the spaceship. So just simple as that. And let's do it. Extrude, insert, extrude, inside, extrude. This is look quite step looking, so I'll just undo that. This is looking nice. Now we will add another geometry. So it's no matter how far and close your object is from the center, but until and unless you have the origin set to the 3D cursor, you will add any geometry, add array modifier, and if you distribute that based on object offset, you have all object in a circular manner as you set your empty. So this is nice because the mega structure, most of the mega structure have some similarity in, especially in a spaceship or other objects. Copy modifier, I just select this one and this one and hit Ctrl L, copy modifier, and that's easy. Don't have to add again and again. Now adding a material part, just add simple materials. You know the setup. I am using Voronoi because Voronoi is great for sci-fi panels, and just increasing the metallicness. Now I'll change this to chubby shape, and as it is a huge spaceship, this will look not look great. So we will just increase its scale on the x and y axis, so it will look like a long panel along x and y axis, not on the z axis. You can say stretched z axis. Yeah, now we will add color. So we add another color map and change this to constant. Just duplicate this one because we have geometry distributed like that, and we can change the color onto this one. Simply make it grayish black or some rusty material. Plug this also in the roughness, and just I'm using a noise texture for the roughness stuff. You can use Musgrave texture if you would like to. After adding these details, that's look nice, just increase the roughness and change the panel setup. This one looks too, yeah, now looks okay. Some old looking sci-fi spaceship. I'll just select the top part, add other material, assign it, and just create Control Shift Control T. If you had a node wrangler add-on enabled, you will get this setup, and just select any image texture of your choice. And add a hue saturation node. We will change its color to bit darker, and that's looking nice. Just now for the top part, add another material, control shift T. You can't see the other window because I am using OBS for recording, and I set it's on Windows capture, so it will just capture the one window which is Blender window, not the other Blender window which is popping up. So sorry for that. And just add some simple material again. For this one, control shift T and select a material, accept, and you will get all this setup done. This all texture I am using is from texture.com, which is a great website and resource for texturing. I am using for a long time. Just add a hue saturation node, because most of this kind of thing have this white and gray or blackish color. And one thing, yeah, you can hit shift L or control L, I guess, for rotating the sun of the HDRI with Philosix ZBrush, Philosix PBR Painter enabled. And I'll add some lighting on this with the emission texture, some kind of. So I'm using an building emission texture to distribute some light and plug this into the emission. And here we have some emission. I'm using different UV mapping node. So here you can see, and with the help of the color ramp I can control the intensity of the light and the maximum minimum size of the, and that looks quite nice. Some yellow lights, and go to world, control T, environment texture, we don't need it. I'll change this texture from environment to noise because we are making stars. So increase the number, add a color ramp and sliders, and there we have our spaceship. And this PBR textures look very good in the actual environment lighting or in the actual final render, because texture.com have your back. And there you have a spaceship. We forgot about this little bending, but once we fix the lighting we will just add this also. So as our spaceship is have a stretched panel, I would like to stretch some light, but if that not looks great, we will go with the one we have right now. Search for a mix RGB, add a color ramp and plug this in the bottom socket, and we can change the fall off. Now we will have our fall off based on this color ramp factor. So we have lights in some area, not all the areas. And with our cube selected, I'll just make some light source in this. So I'll assign new material, change this to emission shader, and the color will be blue, sky blue, or you can say a teal